today for our virtual news conference regarding our new local CARES business programs that we're launching today. We're going to have a panel discussion, and then we'll open the floor for questions from our media partners here. I'd like to let everyone know that the group joining us today will include the chair of our 2020 Board of County Commissioners, as well as the chair of our Pinellas County Economic Development Council, Commissioner Pat Gerard. We'll also be joined by Mike Meidel, who is my director at Pinellas County Economic Development, and Aubrey Phillips. Aubrey joins us from as the manager of Strategic Performance Management at the Office of Management and Budget. In this case, she is also serving as our Director of Operations for this round of our CARES programs. So with further ado, I will get us started, and I'll ask Commissioner Gerard, our chair, to kick off the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank all our media partners for continuing to share this valuable information about how people can get help during these unprecedented times. We've really appreciated your help getting this news out. Since the county first received CARES Act funding this past spring, we've been working hard to get that money quickly to the people that need it most. Our programs for individual financial assistance and a first round of small business grants have already brought relief to thousands of people. Today, we're proud to launch a new program to help even more local businesses that have been hit hardest by the pandemic. The Pinellas Cares Local Business Grants Program will offer grants up to $10,000 for businesses that had to shut down or whose customers had to stop doing business. Our first business grant program helped more than 3,200 small businesses stay afloat, and we expect many more to get help from this new program, which will be open to more kinds of businesses. I'll now turn it over to Mike Meidel, who can give you a lot more detail about this new program. He is the head of our County Economic Development Department. Mike?
Great, thank you so much. The initial round, as Commissioner Gerard mentioned, issued about 3,200 checks. That's over $16.2 million from over 5,000 applications that were submitted in that round. And that occurred from May 4th through June the 30th. And it was designed to focus primarily on businesses that had a physical retail storefront presence, a hotel, a restaurant, a retail store, and that had 25 or fewer full-time equivalent employees, and that were required to close based on the governor's safer at home orders. Now, the second round of funding that we're starting today is designed to address those same businesses, but also to look at businesses whose customers are those businesses. So think of things like wholesalers to our retail storefronts, service providers of graphic services and advertising services to hotels, motels, and restaurants. Those are the types of businesses that are now eligible. So we're taking a look at larger businesses. The big difference between the first round and the second round, there are really four important differences. The first one is larger businesses can qualify. And now businesses that earn income between $17,000 in 2019 and $3 million on their tax return in 2019 are eligible for between $2,500 and $10,000. And revenues at this level could support as many as 50 employees. So we're doubling the size of the firms that could be eligible in round two. The other difference is we're also supporting smaller businesses. In the first round, you had to achieve at least $17,000 in revenues. In this round, we have special microgrant program that is available to businesses that earn as little as $4,250 in 2019, and that the same microgrant program is available up to businesses that earn just under $250,000, but may not have the right documentation that we require for the larger grants. So there's more flexibility there in the size of the business. The other thing is we no longer require a physical storefront. So home-based businesses now qualify. Businesses located in co-working or similar and business incubators now qualify. Businesses locating and operating out of warehouses or traditional office space qualify for the program. So it's a much broader segment of the business community. And finally, an expanded range of businesses now qualify. And that's, as we discussed earlier, these are the businesses that sell to hospitality, sell to the retailers. And we've got a new list that is available on the website, and it'll explore the different NAICS codes and types of businesses that are now eligible under the new system. Businesses that have already received money from local grants from your municipalities still can apply for this grant from the county. In fact, if you already received a grant from the county in the first round, you may qualify for an additional funding in the second round if you earned in excess of $250,000 in 2019 and can show that on your tax return. So you're also welcome to apply for additional grants in the future. So there's no limitation here. You're welcome to come back. One of the other beautiful things about this new system is there's a single application portal for all of the different grant programs. So you go to one place, and the easiest way to find it is through www.pced.org, and those are the initials for Pinellas County Economic Development. So www.pced.org/cares. And that will get you to a page that has the portal on it, has frequently asked questions, you'll be able to find the list of all of the eligible business types and be able to start your process from that point. The other thing is, in the previous round, you had to submit a W-9 form to document your address and your taxpayer identification number. There were many problems in filling out that form correctly. We have built the questions to create that form right into the application process, so it should reduce the errors that were encountered in producing that form the first time. In addition, we've reduced the number of documents required for this second grant. In reality, what you need now is an attestation of qualifying economic damages. You have to tell us that, yes, I experienced more in economic damages than I'll be receiving from this grant, and that I'll be spending it on things that were not paid for by my insurance or by other federal grants. Then we'll also have the 2019 business tax return that you'll have to file based on your type of business. And then finally, a proof of legal operations. And that can be a business tax receipt from your local municipality. It could be registration with the Florida Division of Corporations, or it could be a business license from the Department of Health or the Department of Business and Professional Regulations, or it could be your Department of Revenue resale certificate from the state of Florida. Anyone lacking any of that documentation may still be eligible for one of the microgrants. And these microgrant providers will work with you to create the documents you need to be qualified for these grants, and will also provide additional technical assistance to help your business to grow. And finally, there's one other type of grant that's available through this same portal, and it's available to our target industries, which are our largest employers, but they can also be small businesses with 0 to 30 employees. But they're in the fields of manufacturing, information technology, scientific research and development, non-depository financial services, insurance carriers, shared services and call centers, and corporate headquarters. So basically, these are companies that get more than half of their revenues from outside the state of Florida. They sell their product or service elsewhere, and then that money comes into our local economy. These types of firms are eligible for reimbursement of your expenses related to COVID mitigation up to $10,000. So this will be a matching grant. If you spend $20,000 on preparing your place of business to deal with the COVID environment, you can receive $10,000 back from the county with the receipts and invoices that you provide. Now, this can be things like new walls and partitions, UV lights in your air conditioning system, electrostatic sprayers to clean the space, personal protective equipment for your employees. So all of that can be added up, send us your receipts, and you're eligible for up to half of that in return for the qualified expenses if you're in those business categories. So that's a quick overview of the new program. And with that, I want to turn it over to Aubrey Phillips, and she'll describe some of the other programs that are available and have been expanded under the CARES grant.
Thank you, Mike. And as you can hear, we've really worked hard to make the application process simple for applicants, as simple as we can, while still offering a variety of grants to meet the different needs that our diverse business community has. The new local business grant that you just heard Mike describe, though, is just one part of a balanced overall approach that we're taking that really puts our residents and businesses first and prioritizes those most in need. Pinellas Cares programs also, beyond the local business program, offer housing and utility assistance, support for licensed childcare providers and critical nonprofit services, as well as targeted investment in local pandemic response. So just briefly, a quick update on each of those areas. As of Friday, nearly $8.6 million in overdue housing and utility bills have been paid through the Individual and Family Financial Assistance Program, providing emergency financial assistance to more than 2,300 households that have been impacted by COVID. In partnership with the Early Learning Coalition of Pinellas County, as of today, 222 grants totaling $1.5 million have been approved for licensed childcare facilities that have reopened and are now serving children and families. The Nonprofit Partnership Fund, administered by the Pinellas Community Foundation, is serving the needs of those critical service nonprofits, providing feeding, legal assistance to do with housing, and other critical needs related to COVID-19. That program has received approximately 60 applications that are in progress currently, and their applications review committee kicked off last Thursday, reviewing the first 4 applications. Information about submitted applications, grant committee meeting minutes, and recordings, as well as grant awards and agreements, will be posted to pinellascf.org. So you can see there for more information about those grants as they're awarded. In addition to these programs aimed at improving economic recovery and resiliency for our individuals, families, and local businesses in Pinellas County, there's also been targeted investments in local pandemic response to help slow the spread of COVID in the community. These include $1.5 million that has been invested to ensure we have an appropriate PPE stockpile and our community is prepared to respond, $4.4 million that supports COVID-19 testing and contact tracing through the Department of Health in Pinellas County and community health centers. And then additionally, we're also working cooperatively with the cities to fully leverage other federal, state, and funding sources, including FEMA, to maximize the CARES Act funding for community programs countywide. In the coming weeks, we're looking forward to launching a workforce reemployment program to help those that have been impacted by COVID train for and transition to new employment. So that's an overview of our Pinellas Cares programs overall. As you can see, we've tried to develop a comprehensive and balanced approach that really listens to and responds to the needs and priorities that we heard from the community. And with that, I think we'll hand it back to Stacy and open it up for questions.
Great. Aubrey, thank you so much. I'd like to first remind our media partners who have graciously joined us here today that we'll be sending out a full media release immediately following this press conference. And then I'd also like to invite you to please answer questions. You can unmute yourself. Josh is going to help me promote those who would like to ask questions. I also neglected to thank Elizabeth Hydorn, who is graciously helping us with our American Sign Language today. So I just wanted to say thank you to Elizabeth also. With that, I will open it up to questions, please.
And just for the media partners who are on the phone or on the Zoom call, at the bottom of the screen is where you can access the Q&A to type a question, or you can raise your hand and we can unmute you.
We'll wait another few minutes just to see if we have any further questions. And again, as Aubrey said, you can raise your hand. Or, oh, I see we do have one question. Thank you so much. Margie, thank you. Margie asked, how many additional businesses do we expect to serve in this next phase of assistance?
Mike, would you like to respond to that?
For sure, I'll take care of that. I believe we'll have another 3,200 businesses. We've about double the amount of businesses that can be served through this new expanded list of eligibility. Part of that we don't know because we don't have a clear picture of how many home-based businesses are out there. So it could be considerably more than that, but we do expect as many to apply in the second round as did in the first.
Okay, and do we have any further questions from our media partners here today? We'd be happy to answer them. We have a great panel assembled for you.
Just want to say, because of that expected business count, we don't expect to run out of funds quickly. So we do encourage people to take their time to put the application together correctly. They'll get their money faster by having a correct and complete application than they will by trying to get the incomplete application in early, because that will just force the reviewer to go back to them, try and get in touch with them, fill out the application. It'll slow down the process. There is no danger of running out of funds, at least not in the first month or so. So please take your time and do it right.
Mike, thank you very much. We have a second question from Gordon. It's a really good one. What sort of documentation will you need if you're a home-based business?
Yes, in a home-based business, you'll still need your business tax return. So most home-based businesses will have a Schedule C as part of their tax return every year. Now, it's possible that some businesses like independent artists and others, maybe on a 1099, will only be filing their regular tax return, so a Schedule 1 as they call it now. And either one of those will be okay to provide that information. And then, of course, some home-based businesses are structured as LLCs and potentially even as C Corps or partnerships if it's a husband and wife partnership. So really any of the different tax forms would work, but you would need whatever form that you use to file to the IRS every year to show your business income.
If I could just add on there for clarity, that there's no additional or separate documentation required for home-based businesses versus non-home-based businesses. So it's the same documentation that's required for businesses, just indicating what the business address is, and we'll confirm that that is located in Pinellas County.
Great. Aubrey, thank you so much for chiming in on that. Margie has another great question. I think we want to emphasize this one. What is there a deadline to apply for this funding?
Really, December 30th. We've got to have the money out the door by that time. We are going to take a look at the program in about 30 days to see how much money we have spent, how many applications are in the system, because there is a chance we could continue to broaden it. The basic sliding scale program has about $32 million associated with it. We've only given out $16 million so far. So if we find that we have some opportunity to provide funding to a broader group of businesses, we'll definitely do that. So, within the next 30 days, we'll have a feel on whether we can add to the scope.
Just to answer really directly, Margie, there is no deadline to apply right now. It's an open application period, and we have not set that deadline to encourage people to take the time they need to complete their application thoroughly and completely. As Stacy and Mike both mentioned, that's the quickest way to get your application reviewed and processed.
Thank you, Aubrey, very much. We have one more question that's coming into us from YouTube, and it is regarding the arts funding. Could we talk a little bit more about the arts funding that'll be available for artists during this round of the CARES program, please?
Sure. The new list of eligible business types includes independent artists and performers. So these are people that make their living out of creating visual art or perhaps performing in plays or movies or commercials or dance, any performer. In fact, professional sports also qualifies if you make your money out of a sports career. But the arts funding would be made through Creative Pinellas. Actually, we still use that single application. So you would apply through that portal. But then if you're an artist, an independent artist that doesn't have at least $17,000 of revenues and the documentation that you would have to receive the standard sliding scale grant, you'll be forwarded to Creative Pinellas for them to work with you on microgrants that would not have the same strict requirements for the sliding scale. But if you've got a large business and you're making a sizable income from your art, you will likely qualify under the sliding scale grants.
Thank you, Mike. Can I ask, are there any further questions? I think we might have one more. Great. This one is for Commissioner Gerard, and it is from Margie Manning with St. Pete Catalyst. And the question is, were you surprised that the first round of Pinellas Cares for Business was not as widely used as the original projections suggested it might be?
Well, I think we were all a little bit surprised, although we had crafted that program a little more narrowly because we weren't sure what the response was going to be. So, you know, there was a lot of urging from the commission to open up the, did I say that properly, Mike?
You did.
Open up the criteria a bit and make it available to others. So, you know, no telling why there wasn't a huge response other than that it was quite a bit narrower than what we're dealing with this program.
Great, thank you very much for that answer. I think overall, you know, we felt we did a lot of great work in the first round, and now we're hopefully going to do even more with this second round. Thank you. Can I ask, are there any further questions from our media partners? Okay, seeing none, I just want to say again, thank you very much to our panelists that joined us today. Thank you also to our media partners. We couldn't do this without you. We're very grateful for your help getting this out to our community, because that's why we're all here. I also want to thank Elizabeth for interpreting for us today.